Breaking news today. Putin could start World War III, Zelenskyy says. The war in Ukraine, according to President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, threatens global stability. What will happen in 10 years if Ukraine collapses? Consider it for a moment. What happens if the Russians invade Poland? A potential World War III? In an interview that aired on 60 Minutes on Sunday, Zelenskyy made this claim. We are standing up for universal principles. The cost is highest for the Ukrainian people. We are literally giving our lives for our freedom. We're not made up. This isn't a story. We are engaged in a genuine conflict with a nuclear power that could very well bring about the end of the world. Zelenskyy on American support for Ukraine in its conflict with Russia. Pelley asked Zelenskyy if he expected the United States' roughly $70 billion contribution to Ukraine's war effort to continue. Zelenskyy expressed gratitude toward the United States for its financial support of Ukraine. I don't think they're backing Ukraine exclusively. Should Ukraine fall, I expect Putin to push on. The Baltic states are within Putin's reach. What will the United States of America do then? As soon as he crosses into Poland? True, he will. This sum is substantial. We owe you a great debt of gratitude. We are so grateful to Ukraine. What more can they do? This war is killing us. When asked, how much? To which Pelley replied, another $70 billion. I don't have an answer, Zelenskyy said. The whole world has to decide whether we want to stop Putin or whether we want to start the beginning of a world war. Putin is not going to change. The international community no longer takes Russian society seriously. They voted him into office, kept him in office, and bred a new Hitler. That's what they did. There is no way to change the past. On the other hand, we have the ability to put a halt to this right now. Zelenskyy discusses nuclear war fears and the 2024 American election. Putin, according to Zelenskyy, plans to use nuclear threats to further destabilize the United States and Europe. I think that he's going to continue threatening, Zelenskyy predicted. He's just biding his time until the United States starts to unravel. During the upcoming American election, he predicts that this will occur. Instability in Europe and the United States will be high on his list of priorities. To further that instability, he will use the threat of nuclear weapons. The threats from him will continue. Zelenskyy is worried about the outcome of the upcoming presidential election in the United States. Although he feels some military aid hasn't arrived quickly enough, he appreciates President Biden's help. Ukraine's slow counteroffensive, Russia's drone strikes, and more from Zelenskyy. Although Zelenskyy acknowledges the counteroffensive has been slow to develop, he maintains that Ukrainian troops, consisting primarily of conscripts, are making progress. Both the Russians and the Ukrainians are now exchanging 40,000 shells per day along the 700-mile frontline. Wars fought with drones have also slowed development. It's a tough spot, for sure. I promise to tell you the truth. We're the ones taking the lead. This is a good thing, Zelenskyy remarked. The Russian offensive was halted, and a counteroffensive was launched. And despite all that, it still isn't very quick. It's crucial that we continue making gains and retaking ground every day. Even if it's only 100 yards, Zelenskyy said, we must do it. We need to liberate our territory as much as possible and move forward, he added. We can't afford to give Putin any slack. Even though Ukraine doesn't formally recognize them, drone strikes against Russia were another topic of Zelenskyy's remarks. You do know that we only use our partners' weapons within Ukrainian territory, right? Zelenskyy asked. This is correct, but these operations are not meant to serve as punishment, like the killing of innocent bystanders. Russia should know that Ukraine has the legal right to launch attacks on the bases from which it launches missiles at Ukraine. By retorting, your sky is not as well protected as you think, we are showing them that they are wrong. Pelley questioned Zelenskyy about Putin's motivations for ordering attacks on civilian targets rather than military ones. To break us, Zelenskyy emphasized. Putin intended to break us, and that's why he picked civilian targets. You can't put your faith in someone who has gotten where he is by resorting to such violent means. Because he hasn't behaved like a human for so long, nobody has any faith in him. This week, Zelenskyy is set to visit the White House, Congress, and the United Nations General Assembly in the United States. An effort by Netanyahu to further the Supreme Court of Israel has polarized the country. 60 Minutes. If decisive action is not taken against Putin, Ukrainian President Zelenskyy says, we will have another world war.